Time now for Inside Out as we welcome in SNY NBA insider Eamon Begley. And the Knicks dug themselves an early hole, falling behind 11-zip. Ian, how surprising was that slow start after the loss to the Raptors earlier this week?
It was surprising, Eamon, because you look at when they came out flat against Orlando at home, the next game they came out against Philly and they took control of the game. So you thought maybe that pattern would repeat itself. But they came out on the road. When you fall down by 11 points quickly on the road, you're always going to have a tough time clawing back. They tried. They didn't defend well enough to get all the way back. They had their moments, but that 11-0 cushion for Indiana early on really hurt the Knicks.
Well, as you mentioned, they did not defend well for the second straight game. The defense let the Knicks down. So, Ian, why does it appear that the defense is no longer the identity of this team?
Well, I'll go back to the offseason when Reggie Bullock signed with Dallas and the Knicks brought in Evan Fournier, and you have Kemba Walker at the point and Elfrid Payton's in Phoenix. Now, I'm not saying that those two, Reggie Bullock and Elfrid Payton, made the Knicks defense, although Bullock played a really big, important role last year. But you take those two away, the defense is going to change. And now you're sitting here, if you're the Knicks, you're actually bottom 5 in defensive efficiency in the NBA. It's early. It's too early to look at statistics, but that's not where the Knicks want to be. That's not where a Tom Thibodeau coach team wants to be at any point in the season.
Now, as you mentioned, it's early, and we should never overreact to one game in an NBA season. But was this game an indicator of how competitive the Eastern Conference is going to be this year when a team that comes in with a 2-6 record pulls off a wire-to-wire win?
You could definitely look at it that way, Eamon. And that's why a lot of people, analysts, you look at Jeff Van Gundy and others, said this Knicks team could be more talented, could be a better overall team than last year, but they could not have the record to show for it. They could have a worse record because the East is so deep. You look at the Indianas, the Chicagos, the Miamis, they should all be right there down the stretch of this thing in the East. So the Knicks, maybe they're more talented. Maybe they get it together on the defensive end and they're a better team than last year, but just the depth of the conference is going to hurt them overall. You could look at Indiana's play tonight and you could say, yes, that's absolutely evidence of that.
All right, so along those lines now, the task only gets tougher on Friday as the Knicks visit the world champion Bucks. So, Ian, in your eyes, what's the biggest adjustment Tom Thibodeau has to make now to try to end this 2-game losing streak and knock off the Bucks?
Well, if you're going to rely on the three-point shot, you have to knock down the three-point shot more frequently than the Knicks did against Indiana. But shooting is going to come and go. What they need to do, in my opinion, is get out on shooters and be better in transition defense. They've been getting crushed in transition defense lately. That comes when you shoot more threes. But by and large, it's hustle. It's getting back. And I think Tom Thibodeau and his crew are going to try to clean that up going into Milwaukee.
That should be a good one on Friday night. Eamon Begley, thanks for joining us here on Geico Sports Night.